Yeah, just change the inputs so
I see. I can't do all of this. Hi, everybody. We are live.
Hi, everyone. We are going to predict the outcome of SummerSlam 2016.
Purely via gameplay.
Yeah.
My expert gameplay.
I'll get on that immediately.
And Dave, you've picked, you're playing, I guess, as the person you believe is going to win.
I expect to win, yes.
That is Finn Balor in this case.
Finn Balor.
Channeling the demon.
Or what they say when you're a bad garbage man, Ben Fowler. Ben Failure.
Yes. This is a match, I'm actually really looking forward to this because they're both, great, I don't know, players to the crowd in terms of theatrics. I kind of like Rollins wrestling a little more than I like Finn's, but it should still be a pretty great match, and I'm excited to see what Finn's ridiculous intro will be at SummerSlam.
Yeah, because he already used the demon on Raw.
Yeah,
indeed.
Mere seconds after a fan ran in the ring, which was
hang on, people. That's the only thing I've seen of wrestling in the last few months. Somebody ran in the ring.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Did he have a helmet on? Super Dragon. Shut up, Aaron Shadows. I love you. Ampton, how's it butts going? Failed to connect here. So did they introduce him this week, Finn Balor?
He's been on Raw for a month now.
Oh, okay. So what was the big deal that happened the other day? Or last night as of this recording?
He came out in his demon makeup.
Yeah, which he hadn't done yet.
Which he hadn't done and had never, to my knowledge, not that I have a comprehensive knowledge, but even in NXT, didn't come out just to come out and do a promo in the demon makeup.
Yeah.
It was usually only on the pay-per-view or the takeover or whatever. And I think because the general Raw audience hasn't seen that, they're like, no, look, he does this cool thing, and you should really watch SummerSlam because he's going to do it upright. It was also weird to see,
not watching Rawtron.
Like at Takeover Brooklyn last year when he came out, and other takeovers where they would fill an arena that's not Full Sail, you could see the whole audience doing the, and that Raw, you could see huge swaths of people what? Who's this? What am I supposed to do when the lights
it's kind
go
of
on?
like a thing where it's like, hey, I'm cool, I watch NXT, and when you're in the audience, look, everybody, you got to do this.
Yeah, I don't know.
Teaching everyone.
Hopefully people catch them.
Yeah,
I do like Finn a lot, just as personally, he's fun to follow on his social medias.
Again, we're doing this live, and you guys let us know what your thoughts are.
I do love his candid photos on Instagram where he just stands like a nerdy schoolboy.
The Finn Freeze?
Finn Freeze.
What?
But yeah, he's just I agree, his matches occasionally get into that, here's the 5 moves of doom thing. That's the 1916 pin. But yeah, I do agree. I do think Finn will win. Because because Seth doesn't need a championship to be popular, and I think Finn, they want to put the rocket on him and get him somewhere quickly, and then they can feud back and forth for a little while, maybe. Oh, that's standing.
404 says, I say he needs to keep the theme demon going. We had Jack the Ripper demon in London, Chainsaw demon. Now we need Run DMC demon for Brooklyn.
Yeah, it would be cool if they themed it a little to Brooklyn. And
Stacey Pro says it was weirder when he came out in black and white crow-like makeup, kind of already done, missed by Mr. Sting.
Well, it was more I think, kind of a reference back to
Venom.
Because he used to do a lot of Venom-inspired stuff, and maybe it was just let's take the red out. Because I really loved his takeover Dallas costume that mixed red, blue, and that. It looked very Spider-Man-y, which was a reference though to somebody who had died. I forget the name of the person, but.
And Tron is correcting. Run DMC is from Queens. A lot of hip hop corrections for me this week. Dougie Doug is not the same as Dougie Fresh. I've learned from our Cool Runnings discussion.
Troned out saying, I have tickets for NXT TakeOver, and I'm a little upset.
Jelly.
SummerSlam looks way cool. Yeah, this is the first time in 2 years, I think, that a pay-per-view match, he used the sling blade on it.
That the NXT show is
Some
not
people
as
call
good
it a
as
Kaiser blade, Elston.
Yeah, reckon I'm running out of plasma charges. It's a Sling Blade 2 The Reckoning joke from Mad TV. One of the few Mad TV skits that I still love.
Though I still think
reckon I'm running out of plasma charges.
This week's NXT might be better just at WrestleMania weekend because it's so much shorter.
Yeah.
The actual SummerSlam is shorter?
SummerSlam is going to be 4 hours with a 2-hour pre-show.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, NXT is going to be 2 hours with a 30-minute pre-show.
Yeah, but this is the first takeover in a while where I'm less excited for the takeover than I am the main roster thing, because the main roster, and we'll predict a few of our matchups here tonight. But these matchups are all exciting. Like Finn and Seth, I think this match should impress and be a lot of fun. Sling Blade, cracking his back of his head on the mat. He's going for the coup de grace, but Seth is trying to get to his feet. That core strength ain't gonna help him now.
Finisher.
Lands on his butt. That's his finisher. Let's see it again.
And again.
And the SummerSlam Fuegos replay. I haven't paid attention to wrestling since the week after the brand splits is impotent. It just seems to me it's never been more pop. People have never been happy with the product.
Yeah. So this is for the Universal title, which is a new belt, and you're going to see it right now on our stream.
Wow. The winner of this will be the first WWE Universal Champion.
Well, maybe the belt will look cool because it doesn't sound cool.
Oh, they haven't even shown the belt, have they? Yeah.
It's different from the international belt because it includes space.
Yeah. Well, the rumor is it's just going to be a different color than the SmackDown's belt.
This includes all the wrestlers up on that y'all know in Andromeda Galaxy. Y'all get dunked. Yep. One of these two will decide.
Or is it going to take over the Betty Boop store next to the Minion Friday? Yeah. That's a Universal Studios reference, and I suck. They haven't shown off the Universal
more
title
highlights,
belt, have they?
Highlights.
Gonna love the spinner with John Cena's face on it.
There you go.
Wow.
Your Universal belts, because money rules the universe. I want to say.
That's weird. It looks like Ted DiBiase's medical alert bracelet.
Well, you're not far off.
To get a 404, the WWE Universal Studios Orlando belt, brand synergy. Oof. Wasn't everybody shitting on WWE a few months ago? How is it good all of a sudden? Asked Michael Plaskett.
There's still problematic stuff going on, but they're just in a reasonably energetic time when some of the stories are a little better and tighter than they've been in the past year or so. There's still problematic stuff that's just like not I don't know, just segments that kind of fall flat or motivations that don't make entire sense given the character's motivation or why they would be there or what they're doing. But like a Dean Ziggler feud, you'd be like, yawn, who cares? But they've done a good job. At least 2 weeks ago, there was a great promo of them back and forth where Ziggler did a lot of really good, which felt a little off the cuff, but really sold them fighting and why they should fight. So you're like, I'm actually interested in this. And then this Lesnar-Orton is a match I guess they haven't had ever or not in a decade.
I think they had it once on like a SmackDown in like 2004. But
so this is at least something that's been in the making for a long time. And Orton, ever since he came back from his 9 months off, has been more interesting than I have ever seen when I've been watching regularly over the last 3 years.
Is he good or bad now? What's his deal?
He's good.
Okay.
So you're playing as Brock?
Yeah.
You think Brock's going to take this?
Yeah. I don't like. He's gonna have to.
Noted cheater, juicer, Brock Lesnar.
He said a swear on Raw last night.
Did you miss JGB Sterling?
Just the Universal title, which we debuted on this stream.
To Finn Balor.
Yep.
We believe Finn will win, and you're saying Brock Lesnar will win, which I could see, but I feel like they're going to give Orton this.
I mean, it wouldn't be bad for him to be the guy who finally gets that pin on Brock, but...
Yeah.
Is Paige dead? Asked Awkward Loser. She's my favorite, but Lloyd Banks and Jax from Mortal Kombat seem to be eating her lunch. Brock's not so bad if you didn't pick Charmander, says Michael Skit. Everyone liking Randy Orton when he became a Vine sensation in 2015, says Aaron Chados. That is funny.
He's very animated now. Like every time he does like an RKO, he'll like point to his shirt.
Yeah, just like when he was champ, like in 2013, he was really boring, and like as a heel, he just wasn't interesting.
It's one of the first things I got bored with.
Yeah, and I got so tired of his matches, and then him and Cena feuding constantly. But when he was gone for 9 months and then shut up and had a really good back and forth with Jericho, just in the ring and not even wrestling, it was like this is the most interested I've been in Randy Orton ever.
Mean, his SummerSlam, his WrestleMania match with Seth was great.
Last year that was good. Came out in his red trunks.
And the fucking super kick thing.
The curb stomp
from
the
air.
Yeah,
it was awesome. JJB Sterling believes Paige is injured?
Yeah, Paige is injured, and there's a mixture of injury / heat for being with Del Rio that this family run...
Not an election year.
That this family run... what's the word I'm looking for?
Where you going, Nelson?
Vindictive prone. I'm trying to think what is the correct way to phrase that.
Getter 404 says Randy's not bad. He's just the generic universal 2000 era pro wrestler. You think wrestler, you start with something like Orton and then add things from there. Yeah.
I just saw him in Stockton at a house show. He was good. Suplex City, etc. But I am ready for Brock to lose because this like unstoppable monster thing has really run its course.
How long has that been going now?
Like 2.5 years.
Jesus Christ.
I think the last time he technically lost, because he lost to The Undertaker, but that was that shitty finish at SummerSlam last year. But last time I think he was pinned was by Triple H at WrestleMania I went to, WrestleMania 29. Not one of my favorite WrestleManias.
JJB Sterling says, I like Orton more than the average wrestling fan, probably because I started watching in 2013, but even I don't want him to be the one beating Brock. And Steve Hampton adds, kind of want Brock to win and finally lose to Baylor.
I just don't want it to
Joe
be
Mania.
Roman or Cena, because it's like neither of them really need it.
Yeah. And I agree Orton doesn't need it either, but I don't know. At this moment in time, I'm more interested in Orton winning than I am seeing Brock win. But yeah, I agree. Like neither he nor Cena nor I really don't want Reigns to do it because it was telegraphed for too long that's what they wanted to do, and it's like
nobody wants to see it.
Just even getting out of the that's not what the fans want. It's just like even outside of that, just when you telegraph it so clearly, it's just not exciting from a viewer perspective. Like even if I didn't read websites all the time, it's just like you are setting it up so clearly that that's who you want to beat him, and who wants to sit through that for a year while you build to that?
Sharon is saying the guy that beats Brock is Goldberg. That can't be.
That would be pretty funny.
Amber said Cena beating Brock to break Flair's record would make perfect sense, though.
Oh, yeah. Because I guess if Brock broke the streak, then Cena breaking Flair's record.
What is Flair's record?
Is it 16 world champs or 17? I forget
16.
what the number is.
Ooh.
And Cena's tied? Or has
No, he's one off. He hasn't won
one off from tying.
Yeah, he's 15, I believe. Okay. Yeah, that's what it says on my Christmas shirt.
I am waiting to break out my Dirty Deeds sweater, but it's got to be after Labor Day at least. I can't just have that on in summer.
What? Last time I liked Orton was the Legend Killer days, says Getter 4-4, when him and his idiot dad were running away from The Undertaker, which ended kind of awkwardly after Papa Orton admitting he was Hep C positive and was keeping it a secret
while
after
fighting
bleeding
The Undertaker,
on Taker.
which is like, you don't want to give The Undertaker hepatitis and keep him from wrestling ever again. Because you're an
what an angle!
Man who...
What an angle. Come on, Brock. You going to put him away?
I can't remember which one Dave is, because we are predicting the outcome here. So Finn Balor has already won, and yes, I love saying his name like that because I'm dying to somehow transition into a Baloo reference at some point. I just want to see the fucking Disney bear with that face paint.
I just also feel like some of the glow from Brock has kind of worn off because he hasn't. Is the date for him getting his judgment from? Ooh, nice.
From UFC?
From UFC. Is that after SummerSlam?
I don't know. I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, so because that's weird where, like, if I was WWE, I'd be like, I don't want to have him win this big signature match at our second biggest show of the year when we don't know what real-life penalty he's going to have to undergo, which will probably make news and be on SportsCenter or whatever. Like, then we have this guy who won this big match, and then what's his penalty?
Awkward Loser is asking, shouldn't the employed wrestlers be much angrier at Brock's gross PED double standard?
I would be.
Well, you didn't get popped on PEDs while in WWE. It was with... It could have been in that time between WrestleMania and...
the
UFC 200.
Yeah, I agree.
So Dave predicts Brock Lesnar, of Pokemon fame, will be the victor in his match against... the Reverend Orton Heat. Yes, Michael Plaskett, I stole your joke and made it mine. Ampetin says it's hard to take the storylines in WWE seriously when they restrict themselves to bland PG nonsense. No edge makes stories boring. They need to lean more into the Shikara fun aspect of things.
They do get bland because like these characters don't have any art. Like they don't have arcs, and like they tend to just be evergreen superheroes.
Yeah.
Where it's like Dean is just a little wackier this week and a little more serious this week, but he's always circling around this core where like Spider-Man is always this character, and for 30 years at a time, that is who he will be. He might have a weird 3-issue thing where he's not that, but he will always be that, circling that. And it's like these characters are just perpetually the same, with everyone some varying degree of tweener.
I'm not sure
And
if
it's
I've ever seen these two wrestle, goddammit. Aaron Chavez is saying, remember when everybody forgot about that time when Orton said Eddie Guerrero was in hell?
We played that on a cheap podcast.
Steve Hampton says, as WWE hasn't cared about Brock's 2 failed tests, they won't care about an outside organization's ruling. Can't imagine they would.
Normally I would think that, but I just feel like maybe this has gotten long in the... He's been having the Invincible Monster thing long enough that maybe they're ready to like, look, we can't keep giving you all these passes and preferential treatment and huge amounts of money to work fewer dates than anyone else. I'm just wondering if this is finally, they're like, not solely because of this thing, but like cumulative effect of like multiple things. So you think Dean's going to win?
Actually, I don't, but I am rooting for him.
Not Dean. Ziggler. You think Ziggler's going to win? Yeah. So Ziggler, this is for the current WWE Championship on SmackDown,
which has already become the second most important title in WWE.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I bet it will be this match will air before.
The Finn Seth one.
Yeah.
Just saw the Austin Dean interview. Yeesh.
Oh yeah, it's not good. It was on the WWE Network. Austin did a podcast, and Dean was not answering.
A lot of cameras.
Yeah.
Dean was what?
Dean was not answering questions the way that Austin wanted to, and at the end of the podcast, Austin was like, "I want to light a fire under you and like inspire you," and like Dean was kind of like, dude, this is the way I am. I'm laid back. I'm not going to, like, turn on and be like a...
he's unstable. Ampin is asking, did you guys see any of the announced features for 2K17 that were recently announced?
I did see there's, like, no... So there's usually a showcase mode, which is, like, where you play through historic matches, but they're not doing that this year. They're doing it to make the career mode better, which I'm for if it can, be improved.
Yeah, I remember
Oh, they also said triple threat matches. There's now a mechanic where if you're too injured, you'll be outside the ring, like in a real match. Like you know how in triple threat matches now, where like one guy will just be out of
disappear.
And it makes because that's the frustrating thing about this game is like anytime you tag match or a triple threat match, it takes forever because someone's always breaking up the pin.
Chris, you saw these two wrestle live during the ladder match at WrestleMania 31. I know, but not solo.
Not solo.
They were sort of my favorite-y guys back when I was paying the most attention.
Yeah, I kind of fell off the Ziggler train last year with all the dumb shit with Rusev, but I don't know. I like motivated Dolph. So
that's why Dolph Ziggler was perpetrated by our own government. That is a reference to an obscure YouTube video.
I was also able to interview
Dolph
Ziggler, yeah. Saw on a video on a website.
Gams Radar?
Actually, no, we may have been a separate video for Oxen. I can't remember.
Bill Nakano says the problem with the superhero analogy is that these wrestlers are on TV weekly. They grow old fast and rarely reboot characters, except low-card wrestlers.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think when you're measuring it in years, I don't think there's as much of a difference between weeks and months because, like, Spider-Man would have 3 comics out a month, which is practically weekly. And he wouldn't have huge changes except for, brief periods at a time. I don't know. There's just something about the characters now that just seem kind of stuck, and they don't change. And like motivations and stuff from 3 years ago, it's like Dean is the same today as he was a year ago, and it's like, I don't know.
Dolph Ziggler.
Some weeks he's more intense. Some weeks he's not.
Into victory.
It's a Dolph Ziggler.
It's a real Dolph Ziggler.
Galactic Championship.
Yes, he's champion.
This is just the world.
This is just the world.
Yeah.
Oh, but that signature super kick.
Michigan Territory Championship. So, Getter404 is asking, so will you be doing all 7 Cesaro-Sheamus matches tonight or just the first 4?
On the stream, probably through.
So that is Ziggler winning, Brock winning, and what was the other one? Finn winning so far. And what are we moving on to now?
We'll do, I think, maybe one more SummerSlam match. 1 or 2 more SummerSlam matches, and then I'm gonna try to fit in 1 or 2 NXT matches because we've got back-to-back days NXT Takeover Brooklyn.
I didn't know that.
That's Simpsons reference. I don't know if you got that.
Didn't.
Brooklyn. It's when they're talking when they're all being when they're in the Krusty School, and you can't have 2 clans in the same territory. It's like Texas, Brooklyn.
Yeah, how weird is it that Sami Zayn doesn't have a match?
Yeah, that is sad. Okay.
Is there a reason why? Is he injured? Is he shooting a terrible movie?
He just doesn't have any feud or active story going on.
Stacy Pro is asking any opinions on the run of jobber matches with Nia Jax and Braun Strowman.
I don't mind them.
No,
it could be nice sometimes.
And Impotent is saying, I wish they would have kept belts exclusive to each brand. This every brand needs a belt crap just waters down both brands and makes
it's gonna be too much if they do that. Like,
hey, look at the belts you have. You unlocked all these, Dave.
Actually, when I got the game, it came with the accelerator that unlocks everything right away.
Accelerated belt unlocks.
Well, everything, because there's also unlocked characters, unlocked venues to fight in.
When Michael Plaskett says, note to self, kill wealthy dowager, does that mean he got your Simpsons joke from earlier? Yeah. JGB Sterling says, boy, NXT is kind of not doing anything for me since everybody left for the main roster.
Does make it harder to get invested in this takeover because outside of Knack Joe, it's like, well, Bailey Asuka, it's like, I've already seen that. And if you believe Bailey gets called up, then it's telegraphing she's going to lose. So the rest of the matches are like...
This, I agree with Ampton. The best thing about WWE the last 2 years have been Lana's outfits. I am on board with that. Getter 44 says, I don't know, after the CWC match, I'm more interested in Gargano and Ciampa than ever.
Are they wrestling? They're wrestling the Revival, right?
Yeah.
That'll be good.
And it did...
Oh, they're bringing in those guys for SummerSlam?
For TakeOver.
Oh, for TakeOver.
I had a good drunk laugh when I learned what Lana's name spells out when you spell her name backwards.
Yeah.
Never occurred to me.
And it took me a second because I was like, well, what's her last name? And I'm like, I gotta spell it all out here. It's like, oh, never mind.
XCS. Yeah.
Well, bam. Do they DLC procedurally update signs in the audience? Because there was a Fear the Demon Finn sign, and that wasn't in 2K16 natively, right?
Yeah, it was.
Really?
Yeah.
He was the
NXT champ, I guess.
Seems like a simple thing to update, though.
He had been the demon, I think.
Keep it fresh.
By the time this game was being made.
Someday I want to work with you, Dave, to find the year WWE released the most games, just to remind people that we're down to 1 a year.
Yeah. I'm sure we didn't get a card game on iOS or something this year.
That's true, if you want to count that. But it's no Backstage Assault in your house. Raw is War.
They were usually only 1 a year for the main wrestling.
For the main, but separate. Raw and SmackDown had their own separate games until they merged them together, and there would still be.
Well, no, they didn't have separate games for the brands. It was separate games for consoles. So GameCube had one.
Yeah, Day of Reckoning. And
but not altogether that fundamentally different.
No.
WWE Crush Hour, says Amperton.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
What about that Game Boy game we streamed? I forgot what it was called.
Betrayal.
We beat the game with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
So, who are you playing as Rusev?
Yeah, I think he's going to win.
Win.
I don't think this is going to... I think Roman's going to be back in the main event before long. This is just his all right, dude, you're going to lose at SummerSlam because you failed that drug test. And once you've proven yourself, you're back in the championship matches.
Yeah, plus him losing, I guess, might take some of the fan heat off of he's getting rocketed to the top or whatever, and it's let him work it good. The house show we went to, him and Rollins had a really good match, and which Reigns won. So Reigns beat Rollins at some of the house shows they were touring.
I don't like how Reigns has become the snarky jerk again, which is it doesn't fit you. You're a big dude, and humor is not your strong suit.
Yeah.
When he was just the pissed off dude for the first 2 months after the drug suspension, it was this is good. I like this. I like that he's just got rage. That's fine. But now he's being a jerk and ruining weddings and shit. It's that
made no sense. Yeah. I'm supposed to be on board with the guy who pushed Lana into a giant cake. But we all like Lana. I know they're supposed to be heels, but the audience likes them, right?
Yeah, and I love cake, so I don't know really. If you ruin cake,
and some of the pictures of her covered in that cake are horrific. Like they look like weird, like a ghost has like protoplasmed through her body. It's so creepy.
Shrone is saying, I really want Rusev and Lana to meet Mephisto and undo all this shit. Their dynamic was so good before their relationship garbage. And Getter44 says, still say Neversoft needs to make that Legends fighting game they did for mobile and make it a full-fledged title. Give me Dark Witch Page and Satyr-Man Brian any day. But Never Realm.
Oh, Reigns going to get out of the accolade. I think he will get out of the accolade at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
I think he will be.
Did at Raw, too.
Oh, did he?
Because they had this match on Raw.
Ampton is saying the cake looked like blood?
Yeah, the cake has this sort of gory blood look. It's just supposed
red velvet.
It is, but like the way that she's like gesturing and emoting, like smothered in this cake, it looks really weird. Some of the photos, because it's not just like, oh, she looks bloody. It's like, no, you look like you were like birthed out of this weird flesh pod, and you're like wailing in despair. It's such bizarre photography. That's brought about by the good guy you're supposed to cheer for ruining their wedding. And it's like, yeah, they're out there being smarmy jerks about we're so great and we got married. Oh, aren't we so happy? But it's like,
what is the best botch wrestling wedding, says Aaron Shados. David Flair / Stacy Keibler wedding is the best.
It's insane that David Flair legit dated a woman who would go on to date George Clooney.
Yeah.
It's like, that is the biggest upgrade in the history of humankind.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. I hope David Flair comes back just like Shane. The Billy Chuck wedding was still a bad one, says Stacey Pro. Daniel Bryan and AG Lee getting crap dumped on them by John Cena was certainly a low point, says Ampotence. I don't know what that means.
They actually had crap dropped on them.
Was it
no,
poop
I think
or crap?
It's fake poo-poo crap.
Fake poopy.
Steve Hampton is saying Lana looked like she got Cronenberg.
Man, Reigns is hanging in there.
Because I'm not that good at submissions in this game, and I've wasted 2 accolades.
Why does Stacy Keibler remind me of E.L. Fudge?
What?
Michael Plaskett, that would be because the name Keibler. I hope that was like a legitimate question that I helped you out with. E.L. Fudge. That was one of the few things on commercials that was allowed to come in our house as a little kid. I love those stupid things.
E.L. Fudge and R.L. Stein should.
It stands for Everybody Loves Fudge. Why did we need to call it this then and then clarify?
Mr. Fudge. So Rusev retaining his U.S. championship.
Yeah.
All right, I say we go on to
SummerSlam or
NXT Takeover
Brooklyn II. The Quickening.
Yeah, we can't do every single match because there are 10 of them for SummerSlam. Still a possibility because there's still SmackDown tonight that they'll have it because they added one on Raw. So,
what surprise pre-show thing? Golden Truth, I assume, will show up and wrestle somebody. And Breezango. Let's go with that. Give me that. Rusev and
Rusev Matchbox Car.
Yeah, 2-hour pre-show is oh boy. That's the one we were at.
Yep.
That's why your pay-per-view never worked. All right, so Takeover.
Is he downloaded?
Who you gonna be?
Senor No, actually I don't think he's gonna win.
Senor Joe. Man, it's scrolling through our downloaded list.
Yeah, some of them are hints at perhaps upcoming.
No! Oh, no.
Man, Nakamura's theme. I was so salty. Like, you're not going to get subconscious, blah, blah, blah. And then his NXT theme is like, this is amazing. So, good on you.
Aaron Shadow says they mentioned they were at the SF WrestleMania. Take a drink. I wish it was the SF WrestleMania. That was the fucking...
Yeah, man, I wish.
It was the hour-long bus ride that was late to the show.
Still the maddest I've ever seen you.
No, it's like the one thing you had one job bus.
One job that we paid for, and we paid a substantial amount of money to go to this ridiculous thing, and then I got a scar on my ear.
Yeah, I wish we got like warm shandy beers or whatever the fuck those were.
Yeah. In fact, they were shock tops that then when we were at Money in the Bank, I'd be trying to order a shock top, and the guy would look dumbfounded. The Hefeweizen? What? It wasn't.
One of these things doesn't look like the other at all.
Yeah, well, he's a created wrestler. So
it looks like someone gave up on a texture for his hair.
Chris? Come on,
no, that guy's of Asian descent too, isn't he?
Samoa Joe.
Mm-hmm. Senor Joe. I think he has a 33 1/3 chance of winning this match.
Yes, Impotent. That was the same show Brett got his face busted open by a beer can.
It was my ear, but yes. Still a scar.
They did get the shininess of Knox pants.
Yeah, that's good. Which part of the reason I got that beer in the head is because it threw it at Chris. And Chris, who already had a beer in both hands, deflected it at me.
Oh, this is my fault.
No, it's not your fault. It's not your fault, but it like came at...
because I didn't ask for a beer. It
no,
just came at me.
Nobody did. You already had 2 from them being thrown in your direction.
And she was overhanding them, too.
Yes, she was not lobbing them. Man, it doesn't matter.
Hopefully Samoa Joe gets drafted back to SmackDown just for the Joe Styles rivalry. So Stacey Pro.
Yeah, that'd be good.
To the beer employees' credit, I've never heard of Hefeweizen before Brett's anecdote.
What?
We should have gotten paid for that. Thanks, Otanga.
It's a type of beer.
So it turns out Chris screwed Brett.
It's a delicious sweet beer. Jesus, he's going crazy with the submissions. That's another thing that you can keep this submission system, or you can use the old one where it's like button mashing. But some people prefer button mashing. Sometimes I prefer button mashing.
So this will be, to borrow a phrase, a slobber knocker.
Yes. Slobs will be knocked everywhere.
Because they are going to bash the shit out of each other.
This is like, it's probably the one question mark I have on NXT. Like, I think either guy could go up to Raw or SmackDown. I probably will, but I don't know which one.
Yeah.
I want to say Joe because he's been in NXT longer, almost a year now, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, like he's also, well, I guess they're both kind of in their late 30s. But Nakamura could also use a little bit more time to like just maybe like, well, he's actually pretty good at English. He's on that Chris Jericho's podcast. I don't know, just like a couple more months in NXT would probably do good for Shinsuke.
Thank you, Kiefer S. And hi, Forrest Larson. So this is for the what? This is the takeover predictions.
Yeah, this is for the NXT Championship.
NXT Championship. Really, not a lot of weight to that title after the Universal sway over the whole galaxy. And then NXT. I can't wait for Joe to get busted openly for the doctors to stop the match every 3 minutes to wipe blood off his face and ruin the atmosphere. Says Hampton. Does he have a reputation for bleeding a lot?
Well, it happened at the Dallas one where he got a cut like a minute in, and they just kept, and he was bleeding a lot, to be fair. But it's just one of those cuts on your head where like it's not a horrible cut, but because it's on your face, it bleeds a lot, and because he's exerting, he's bleeding a lot, and the match just constantly getting interrupted by people wiping blood off his face, and it did kind of upset the flow.
Tron wants Nakamura to feud with Hideo Itami so bad.
Yeah.
Hideo Itami. Let me say that again.
Who also does he not have a takeover match? Which is kind of surprising.
He does have a match this week on NXT because they advertised it last week. Like, Itami back in action, so they might set one up.
Back in action like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but he didn't have one last week, so I think they were just advertising like he's not on the show this week, but he will be next week.
Not quite, Nakamura.
This does not look like the Full Sail crowd.
Yeah, they're not doing annoying chants every 15
It's not
seconds.
a bunch of chants, and there's too many tucked-in shirts with belts and pants. Like, why? What crowd is this?
I saw Henry point out that last week it was like 20 years to the day of the worst thing he said that ever happened to wrestling, the debut of the What chant.
20 years?
Tron says,
must be 10. Yeah.
It says, hopefully Vince's head won't explode when 2 Japanese men step into a wrestling ring with a WWE logo. This will never work in the flyover states. Looks like a Bruce Lee movie out there.
Actually, WWE recently said they're going to incorporate, I'm going to sound like Donald Trump saying this, LGBTQ. BTQ characters. So I worry that won't be accepted well in some of WWE's venues.
I think we're at a time, if you don't accept it, you have to shut up about it. And I don't think you'll be great. It won't be red meat for the crowd like it was 10 years ago.
Oh!
Hi, Joe.
A heavy forearm to that mannequin's face.
You can tell he's grimacing.
I know he
underneath
flew
that
back,
texture map.
right back into his T-pose.
truly. Chad finisher.
Ooh, Kiefer, Asahi Black is my favorite beer. It's a good beer. I almost bought some the other day to drink at SummerSlam viewing, but I didn't. So, it's a great beer though.
How's it different from a?
It's just
Asahi?
a dark Asahi, so it's a little bit more flavorful. I love Asahi and Sapporo draft generally. Like bottles and cans, not so much, but a draft Sapporo is kissy fingers.
Black beers matter the most.
And Asahi Black is good. I've only ever had it in bottles. I don't know if I've had it draft.
Impotent says, I still don't understand why you need to emphasize a character's sexuality at all. Darren Young's gimmick is great and has nothing to do with the sexuality.
I don't like his story now just because it's dumb. It's like I cannot tell who is supposed to like. He's feuding with his old tag team partner, but I can't tell who I'm supposed to cheer for and who I'm supposed to boo for. I know there's like shades of gray in WWE, but this is just like they're both being jerks. Like,
yeah, they're both like yeah.
They're both wrong. So could a transgender wrestler compete and win both a women's champ belt and a world heavyweight champ belt? Do not rile up the right wingers with that kind of question. Don't cross that bridge when we come to it.
Whack.
You're in shadows.
Let me just see if his what is it? Abilities?
DQ.
Oh, here you go, special moves. Strong style knee strike. Okay, corner.
Kinshasa.
I don't trust WWE with LGBT stuff. I fully expect Darren Young to be a hairdresser for Gold Dust or some shit since Throne.
The fact that he's been out as long as he has and that hasn't happened is some minor miracle.
Yeah.
Like he's been allowed to just continue being a wrestler. Like that's good.
Darren Castro says never forget the HLA hot lesbian action segments of years past. I doubt WWE can ever integrate LGBTQ themes successfully.
Yeah, I do agree that like outside of like a performer saying like, "Oh yeah, I'm gay," or
I don't
or straight
understand
or whatever.
How
it's
does
like
that play out in the ring?
Yeah, like how that would manifest in the ring is like, does this need to be brought up in the ring?
I mean,
I can't imagine
we've had
it does.
gay panic.
It's kind of like this.
But it would be. There has to be an interesting way to do it because love interests have played a part in many famous wrestling matches.
Yeah, if you want to do something like that, where it's just like this is a story we've told a billion times. Just this one is instead of man-man, or instead of male-female, it's man-man. Like okay, like I guess if you can handle that and not take some easy ways out, that would be great.
Go for the easy jokes, but yeah, I would be interested to see that, and whatever. Hey,
but like
remember,
it is just at that point though, it's like it's still the same story I've already seen. Like
kids need heroes too, though.
Yeah.
WWE Shades of Grey just sounds a lot like tying up and whips gives a whole new perspective.
Hey.
The Texas Bull rope match.
So Samoa Joe.
Oh, good sign. Good job, sign.
Awkward Loser says,
Wow, it's like I'm really there.
I dated Big E's brother, Small D. The sex was awful.
So Samoa Joe retaining his NXT championship.
That's bullshit. I wasn't even paying attention, but I wanted Nakamura to win.
Kinshasa.
He certainly wins
Why
the
does he even
superior
need a
texture
belt
competition.
when his pants go up so high?
Yeah, they got that elastic on there. It's fine.
I do that too to hide my gut. Makes it look like my body is flush with itself when it is not at all. Is this it? Are we doing any more? Is that it?
One more.
Uno
One
mas.
more. Try not to bring.
Sorry, thrown out. I couldn't pull off the Kinshasa.
Darren Castro. Rico's latter-day run was him being a super effeminate face-painted wrestler who was a face, if you can believe that. No, I don't even know who Rico is. And Aaron Trout says, try not bringing homosexuality to my sport where sweaty, muscular men in tights grasp each other for my amusement. Oh.
Almost.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, these are both created characters, so
Jesus.
it might,
Hello, fucking mid-2000s Final Fantasy concept screenshot. Jesus Christ.
Mania 13.
Awkward Losers says,
Revenge of the Taker.
Nakamura and Jax exclusive to the $115 version of WWE 2K17?
It's $100. Oh, but I guess after tax probably. But yeah, it's the NXT edition. I'm sure it'll be like every other WWE game where it's like 2 months later, everyone can get it.
You'll be able to.
Because there hasn't been any like special edition exclusive DLC thus far. You wouldn't know because you probably just bought it.
It's usually one character.
This is one of those things where, like, because of their deal with GameStop or whoever, they can't tell you on official channels, this is coming to everywhere else as DLC, because it'll then hurt our pre-orders. But they're not going to make that content and then, like, just leave it on this thing forever where no one else can buy it. Of course they want to sell it to you.
Forrest Larson says, looks like you guys are about to play Tekken 4 for a second.
So I predict this match will be so big it's put on SummerSlam instead of NXT. That's my bad.
Really?
Chose the wrong arena.
Oh.
No. I'm going to try my best not to cry when Bayley loses at TakeOver, says Trone.
Didn't Sephiroth kill Asuka? We'll never get over it. But so wait, are you playing as Bayley?
No, Asuka.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
You can't make Bayley lose.
But yeah, Bayley, she did come out with a little more fire in this past week, but it is like, you gotta lose. Unless she's gonna do something where she wins the women's belt and then takes it to SmackDown and then like drifts. I don't know. That's too complicated.
Whoosh, whoosh.
Ring ding.
So there's an additional reason I'm playing as Asuka.
Why is that?
It's because it wasn't a sex dream. I had a girlfriend dream about Asuka, where I was teaching her English and she was teaching me Japanese, and
wow,
really?
This is so cute.
Like, yeah.
And then you held hands.
But
it was very innocent.
But no funny stuff?
No.
I love that story. I don't know if I've ever told it publicly because I probably shouldn't. We were at a bar.
Oh.
And I was outside with Diane and she was smoking and he was like, I had a dream about you last night. And she just said through a cigarette, did we fuck? And I'm like, no, we were married. I had a Bela Lugosi question. I'm like, honey.
Was it like a dramatic reveal like on Lost where it's like, who is it? It could be anybody.
No, I don't even know if I looked at her. I just called her from like a recliner in a non-existent living room. So Asuka's Dave's waifu. Says JGB Sterling. I call that. I
didn't want to be that guy, but it happened to me. So.
I call that the girlfriend experience.
Well, I think it's because I've mentioned on like previous like Cheap podcasts like Asuka actually wrote for the Japanese official Xbox magazine. So I always said like, hey, if I ever meet her, I've got a first question to ask her or whatever, and then
you're practically related.
Yeah,
Thanks for that hot incest.
Yeah.
What is up with their legs? It looks like I thought they'd modeled cellulite for a second, but just some scarification.
No, I think it's supposed to be like transparent, like stockings or something. Like
Chris, stop trying to cuck Wiki Parheads. Not. It was literally just Dracula questions. Just Dracula questions.
You can follow that at Dracula Questions on Twitter.
You can look that up in one of our least popular episodes of 2015, last year's Dracula Facts. Facts about Dracula.
Yeah, what's up with you assholes not wanting to learn about Dracula?
Come on. Wrestling is kind of gay, as I realized I was gay largely because of Lita and Stacy Keibler. It's oiled near-naked people rolling around. This is awkward loser.
It's a way to get you used to seeing naked, oily people.
I don't understand the oil thing. You ever see those adult movies where they pour oil all over an ass? Like, I don't need it to be reflective. Like,
it's more the decadence of it.
this isn't a 2001
It's more like
special
like
effect.
I'm not supposed to be doing this, but you're letting me, and that's why it's hot.
just picture how much all this lube costs. It's
Yeah, this is so expensive. This is the craft shit. It's expensive.
swear to God, if this is this is going to be another person with a submission finisher, which I'm not going to be as good at doing.
Steve Hampton says, I only want to learn about Blackula. Sorry, Chris.
How many are
two.
there?
There's like two. There are 2 Blackulas.
How many Dragulas are there?
Well, there's the remix in Jet Grind Radio.
That's the
There's
weird
the one
thing.
that burns through the britches, and then the other one that digs through the ditches.
It's Dracula. I think if I'm being Dracula, public domain. Blackula is not.
Is the intellectual property.
As an intellectual property owner somewhere on his deathbed.
The Blackula writes, go to my children, don't give it to white people. Bailey, nobody home. Bailey drunk.
Gator 404 says, there's enough Blackulas for Jefferson Twilight to make a healthy living. I'm going to go get something for you, Gator 404. Hang on.
Oh. Ref, faster. 2.
Oh,
Chris and Brett should give Dave an 80s montage makeover to teach him moves so he can go on a date with Asuka.
404, I recently spoiled myself and noticed that for only like $3 or $4 more than the soundtrack on CD or digital, I could get the vinyl version of J.G. Thrillwell's Venture Brothers soundtrack, Volume 2. Trying to get it so there's no lens flare, and I'm not blocking Dave's screen. This is not possible. There you go.
On the apron.
Ooh, yes, that is some Venture Brothers merch. Chris and Brett should give Dave an 80s montage makeover and teach him moves so he can go on a date with us. Asuka? Is that how you say her name? Asuka.
And the last step is me getting that same black line over my eyes.
There you go. Did you buy any merch? You can support her that way. Maybe she'll notice. You can notice. She'll notice, like, oh, one sale in.
$29.99.
This guy wearing a shirt with me on it is making me hot.
My plan has worked. Those powerful strikes. Bailey getting a second
getting
wind.
a cunt kick. How do you say your name, dear? Diafoil, talking about vampires. Have you watched What We Do in the Shadows yet? That movie is amazing.
That was pretty fun.
Well, werewolves, not swearwolves. You guys know anything about Ember Moon, System?
Yeah, punched right.
She's debuting at NXT, but I've never seen her in action, so.
Yeah, we know who she's fighting at TakeOver? Did they say?
I don't know.
When does Emma come back? I guess she's probably out for the rest of the year.
Would people know her from somewhere else? Ember Moon?
I mean, yeah, she has enough of a pre-existing cachet.
Like
but
an indie
I don't know.
player?
Well, I don't know if it's a Shimmer thing or a.
Apparently, she's had like really good house show matches with Bailey and stuff like that. So.
But I'm excited because their women's division right now is a little light, and I'm all for it being developmental and like not being a constant influx of indie darlings and people who have already established themselves. But right now, there's like no centerpiece for them to all revolve around or like aspire to. Like Bailey is that person, but she's clearly on the way out. So like, well, on the way out to the main roster.
So our conversion says I had a girlfriend dream about Chiara De Laurentiis. Is that a wrestler?
Isn't that a movie producer?
Do you know De Laurentiis' wife? I don't know. Oh, Tron Dowd is saying she's like a Mortal Kombat character.
Yeah, she does have that look of Melina or Katana. I don't know how that knocked Asuka down hitting her ankles, but
still can't believe the guy who directed What We Do in the Shadows is directing Thor Ragnarok.
Jesus.
I can. Marvel has a process, and the director's almost unnecessary.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to remember who because I was talking about the casting for Thor Ragnarok and why I was so excited for it. Carl Urban's the other person that's in it.
I really wanted him to be Cable.
Yeah.
In the Deadpool movie.
Oh, well, he still can be. There's no reason he can't be.
I don't know if there's been any crossover there before. Huh. What I can think of, has there been anybody in a Fox film who... Idris Elba? No.
Idris Elba was in Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance.
Yeah.
Barely. Oh! Scourge the Executioner.
Really?
With him and Kate Blanchett and Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Man. With Hulk and Thor. All those, like, man, I'm into that. Can't wait.
Wow, that was a full 360.
This is like the longest match we've had of the night. I do think they'll try to do something big because this will most likely be Bailey's, send off. So,
you think so?
Do it upright. Surely.
I don't know. I kind of hope not because there isn't a lot of depth underneath Asuka in NXT right now. I mean, maybe this Ember Moon.
That's what I'm saying.
Good,
Ember Moon needs to be like, hopefully, can be some kind of new force for like inspiration, but. Bailey should not, like, it's been long enough, man.
And Foyle says, I loved her team up with her sister Sailor.
Yeah. But yeah, they need they just need, I don't know if I'd want Bailey to go to Raw or SmackDown. Maybe SmackDown. Because all you really have, I love Alexa Bliss. She's great, but you got Sasha, you got Charlotte, you got Nia on Raw. And then Nikki's still probably coming back to one of them. Stacy Pro. Jeff Goldblum as the apartment hunter. An odd Norse god, but it is what it is.
I've always said that I have a really intense attraction to Bailey because she looks like a good friend of mine who used to bully me for no reason.
Whoa! Oh my God! She's in the Tool video.
Really emotional.
She's in the sober video.
I'm just glad I didn't.
Been waiting all year to make that joke.
SmackDown needs a shot in the arm already, says Trone. But is that our predictions?
Yep.
And you lay them out in order that you did them?
Let's see. So we
Finn Balor.
Finn beats
Seth Rollins.
Seth. Brock beats Randy Orton. Ziggler beats Dean. Rusev beats Roman. No wait, yeah. And what is it? Smojo beats Shinsuke, and Asuka beats Bailey.
You heard it here first, people.
Predict below in the comments.
Yeah, well,
Exactly.
no, don't do that. Wait for the predictions article later in the week. So, yeah, you can.
Do not comment on this video.
Yes, well, you can do that too, but I won't count it.
Yes, LaserTimePodcast.com. There'll be an article about the your own SummerSlam predictions.
I'm glad I didn't disappoint my bae.
Well, that is it for us, people. Thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations, Asuka. That's really awesome. Love you guys. Thank you for tuning in for this live stream. Thanks, you guys. We will be back for the next pay-per-view, probably, for another one of these.
Who knows what the next one is? No Mercy.